so everyone's just still filing in. They're playing a match there on the big screen. And the meet and greet just, I think, is probably wrapping up the before match stuff. So people are having a good time here watching the match. And yeah, it's been a long day, pretty crazy day here.
It's quite the beautiful theater. Talk about it, Frank. What have you talked to anybody out there today? What are people saying? Do they think team action? Do they think Shire Wolves?
Well, I was talking to some people at the Schmoedown meetup last night at the Federal. That's right across the street from the theater, and I saw a lot of people for team action. Not gonna lie, but it was also, I think, fairly split between Shire Wolves. But there's some rabid team action fans here that could make things interesting here. The environment here, very, very interesting.
Well, Frank, I feel like before we talk any more about the live event, as best as we can with the environment that you're in, let's talk about the double header that went down involving Emma Fyffe and the Viper squad, Jay Washington and Janine the Machine, that happened yesterday. What were your overall thoughts of the match?
So let's start with Janine, the Janine match with Emma Fyffe. I thought it was an okay match. You know, not the greatest performances from both players, but I thought Emma fought really well. Janine seemed to have a handle on the match for the most part, despite missing a fair amount of questions. So it was a fine match. It was a good win. It's a decent win for Janine because in the post match, Emma was, she's not really here as a competitor. Also, her main thing, if anything, she's going to compete is in the Inner Geekdom, which we'll get to, obviously with Jay Washington. So to call out Emma, for Janine to call out Emma, is an okay move. I think it's a nice starter move, but nothing defining.
Yeah, I agree. I think Janine is kind of, I don't know, it's almost the Lon Harris approach before he
Right.
went against Ethan Irwin. Is like, let me go against, Spider-Man before I go against any, top tier competitors. And, no disrespect to Bonnie Somerville. It was actually a more competitive match I think most people thought it would be. It was actually a real fun match. But Janine the Machine has just been just that. She's been really impressive in her debuts, or her two first matches, I should say, in the Schmoedown. The Emma Fyffe match, it wasn't Inner Geekdom. It was regular singles league Schmoedown. But Emma still missed a couple of Inner Geekdom questions. I go to the Bill Hader Star Wars question for BB-8.
Should have knew that one.
Others. Yeah, amongst others. And it just seemed like, I don't know, maybe she just didn't have her game face on.
Yeah, it's tough to say. I don't know, because when you get there, sometimes you can overthink yourself, especially in Inner Geekdom or any match. So Leo Logan in the chat points up the not Guillermo del Toro match, or question rather. That was, my gosh. Brutal.
You remember a few months ago, I brought up, I thought it was an epidemic within the Schmoedown, the goofy answers when you don't really know the answer.
Yeah.
This was kind of what I meant, to where how it could really bite you in the you-know-what, because if she erased not, she would have been in a lot better position than she was. Sure. I mean, between the Bill Hader question and the not Guillermo del Toro, that's why I said she didn't really come to play the game as much as she maybe did in that Inner Geekdom match, which you're going to get to. I thought she might have been a little shaken to be in the singles league. I mean, of course, this was her second match ever. We think about Emma Fyffe as this person who's been around forever because we're used to her doing the post-game interviews and now being the leader of the Fyffe Club, but not really an active competitor so much. So for her second match, it was still understandable blunders that somebody still wet behind the ears, or as we say in the wrestling business, someone's still green. There are errors that they might commit.
Yeah, and I think singles is really just not her place to compete, if she's going to compete. And she knows that, but yet I think she still gives it her all and tries to do her best. But she knows that her knowledge, I think, generally speaking, is lacking compared to the vast majority of the league. But I thought she had some opportunities here to make a difference in the match. And so match-wise, I thought it was fine, because overall the whole video, when you look at it from beginning to end, and I'm talking about cutscene to cutscene, this match was it was there, and that's fine and it's great, but the real icing was the very beginning cutscene and the end cutscene, and also the Jay Washington match was phenomenal as well for many reasons. Yeah.
Well, okay, before we get to Jay, Janine the Machine definitely picks up a big W here. Let's quickly talk about the post-match interview, and then we'll talk about the cutscenes before the Jay Washington match. In the post-match interviews, Jay Washington and his new Viper squad, including Markia McCarthy, the marvelous one, we shall call her, they all made their own individual challenges. Markia challenges Rachel Cushing. We saw the Machine challenge the Android. And then Jay Washington challenged Emma Fyffe. What did you think, man? In your debut, you're going to go against the Rachel, the Crusher Cushing, and Markia says she's going to get crushed.
Yeah, this is not a great idea. It's not a great idea.
Not advisable, as we say.
I feel like she probably drew the short straw in terms of members to go up against in the Five Club. We know Clark is probably going to, obviously coming off a title match, is going to take a break. Rachel's got to get back into the swing of things, so she was going to get a match. But really, anyone from the Viper squad going up against Rachel, I think the best competition there is Stacy, but she did not call out anyone at this moment that we know of. So Markia to go up against Rachel. Good luck to you, and props for having the gusto, whatever we want to call it, to go up against Rachel, because that's no easy feat. But then, real quick about the other ones, Jay and Emma, that's going to be interesting because they were in the Manager Bowl. Now that was General. Now they're into Inner Geekdom. Should be very interesting. Jay hasn't had the greatest of matches in Inner Geekdom. Emma is hit or miss if she can remain patient and, and stay within the moment in there.
And not blunder.
Rush.
Not having, big blunders.
Which we're going to get to. But then Janine going against Android, another tough opponent. I mean, Five Club is pretty stacked. But Janine is able to beat Andreyko. That's huge. That's a huge, huge win. Huge win. So
I think there should be a stipulation in that Janine versus Andreyko match. Loser loses their nickname. We can only have one machine or one android. All right, I can't have two robots. I can't do it. There's either a machine or there's an android. I think that should be added. Christian Harloff, Dad Williams, just throwing that out there. Look at that beautiful shot though of the L Portal feeder. Really awesome.
People are still filing in the matches. We're about over an hour away from the start of things, and I think they're going to let start people in about 30 minutes or so. These are the people who were at the meet and greet beforehand with Christian and Mark. So
pretty impressive stuff to see right there. Let's talk about the first cutscene. We see at the beginning of the match, we saw Thad Williams in his office and at his desk, and Mike K.O. Kalinowski, the newly cemented heel Mike Kalinowski, walks into the room and starts talking about this Inner Geekdom gauntlet that he wants to really create and participate in. And Dad's like, man, this kind of short notice. We can't just have a whole tournament here at the last second. And then he just hands him an envelope. Dad reads it and then is really at the behest of Mike Kalinowski after that. What do you think was going on here?
Yeah, I mean, clearly Mike is fed up with the way things have been going, especially for him in particular. I think there's a lot of shady things going on. So he's putting his foot down and saying this is how it's going to be. And he's more or less the de facto commission at this point, it seems like, giving orders to Thad. And now Thad is bowing down. Whatever he read on that piece of paper, whatever he was crossing or underlining, it must have scared Thad enough to say, yes, sir, I will do whatever you say. Let's have a full-on 16-person tournament, which is very, very interesting because I'm not sure what new competitors we're going to see now in Inner Geekdom, but the fact that this is going to happen now, and it's a large part due to Mike Kalinowski, this is going to be a very interesting tournament, I think.
It's in large part due to Mike Kalinowski and whatever blackmail Mike Kalinowski has on Thad Williams, because Thad, as soon as Mike got his way and Mike exits stage left, Thad goes, where's the shredder? And Mike also made sure to tell him, I made copies.
Yeah, he's got a copy.
I'm just wondering what kind of blackmail could he have?
I hope I hope he posts it. Fairly
like he did his High-Bond stuff.
Yeah. I mean, that's great. Well, we'll get into. I mean, if you guys didn't check out the message that Kalinowski posted on the Facebook page, calling out Jared Haven, that is a piece of work. That is beautifully crafted.
And this is actually our kind of official second part to our episode that dropped yesterday, and we discussed that in detail on yesterday's episode. Who was that?
That was one Patrick Campbell.
Where's Pat?
There he is.
There he is.
He can't hear you, but
Patrick Clark. That's Patrick Clark right there. Anywho.
Sorry about that. I had some breaking news in my ear about if you were following PJ Campbell and on Twitter, and his dog had to go to emergency vet, and I just got word that everything's cool with his dog, so he just wanted to let me know. But so it's great to hear. The events, I don't know. I've lost my train of thought here. I mean, we're talking about Mike Callahan.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. We're bouncing around, guys, and you're going to have to forgive us. There's a lot going on over here. There seems to be reactions galore.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. I don't know if someone walked out here, but I think we're all right. We're all right. Everything's fine. We're good here. How are you?
Anyway, let's continue. We're going to try to probably keep this a little bit brief, but, let's talk about the Jay Washington-Emma Fyffe match. What were your overall thoughts of that contest?
That was a fantastic match. I thought Jay played fairly well. Emma played really well. I think Jay is going to be kicking himself about a couple things that he should have gotten, or he feels like he knew better. DC didn't go the way that he wanted to. It was a DCEU, correct? Wasn't it DCEU?
It was DC in the
DC.
Second round.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, DC then. Yeah, but either way, I mean, it didn't really go the way that he wanted. We can talk about. I mean, look, if you look at that first round, Emma could have had 7 points instead of the 5 that she had. So that's Killer on the stage right there. That's him. There he is. He's walking back there.
Gil Kalinowski makes an appearance in front of the live crowd there.
Just came out there, so getting the nice applause there. People seem to like this new Kalinowski, the new Killer. So getting back to that first round, Emma could have had a much bigger lead than a 1-point lead. You talk about she missed the Star Wars question, the red and blue. She should have wrote down blue. I just wrote down red. So I think there's another question in there that I can't quite remember right now. But I think she could have had 7 points over Jay's 4. But then she gets Harry Potter, second round. Huge get for her. And she goes Harry Potter, gets 4 of the 5 for 7 points. Big deal there. And that really helped put the match away. But Jay, he's kicking and screaming the whole time, fighting, gets a couple points there in that final round there. And then it really forces it back to Emma there. So that was that 5-pointer for him was a big deal. Although there is some controversy surrounding that his answer wasn't the correct one because Joker in the movie says, really, my face on the bill, on the dollar bill. And that's really the answer that should have been given. But I did hear that Emma did think about challenging it, but in the end she didn't. And then Emma having to win the match kind of twice there at the end.
Yeah.
The 2- and 3-pointer was a very interesting turn of events because I don't think we really see challenges on winning questions, winning answers.
It might be the first time.
Yeah, it might be the first time. So it's very interesting to hear the music go up and everyone clapping, and then all of a sudden he's like, no. I'm going to challenge that because it's really Smeagol and Deagle, or Deagle gets the ring first. And he actually didn't explain it that way, but that was the correct ruling. So, and I do agree with that challenge. It's a fair challenge. Even Emma said so. But then she ultimately wins it on a Star Wars question, which was
how old was Yoda when he died?
How old was Yoda? 900 years. So that was good to see there. It's a good win for her, and it has some pretty, I think, decent implications storyline-wise going forward between the Viper Squad and the Five Club.
Yes, and to go back to Jay for a moment, him getting that DC movie category in round number 2, missing a couple of really key questions, like the not Spider-Man, but the Superman question, as the crowd's reacting there to, I believe, Emma Fyffe on the screen. But when you talk about that round number 2, DC, Jay Washington getting that Superman 2 question wrong about what was General Zod's number 2's name, the woman in the movie. And then the Superman Returns question I thought was a huge miss, because anybody who knew anything about Superman 2 knows how crazy Bryan Singer was about keeping to that original, what was it, 4 films from the original Superman series with Christopher Reeve. And if you knew anything about Superman Returns, you would know that Marlon Brando was the man credited as the biological father of Kal-El. So a lot of blunders there by Jay Washington. And then the challenge, though, I thought was expertly done. It was the right call. It was the right time to challenge. And the judges, Mark and Christian, got it 100% correct. Just unfortunately for Jay, he had almost insurmountable odds. And I'm trying to remember what his 2-point question was that he ended up getting wrong in round number 3. I thought it was a rather simple question. I cannot remember what it was.
It escapes me at this point. A lot of stuff going on here.
Yeah. Well, obviously, Frank's in the live event environment. Yeah. Oh, yes. Thank you, Leo Logan. It was Henry Jones Sr.
That's right.
Who said, sometimes I sit and the answer will come to me, or whatever it says. And that was from, of course, The Last Crusade, when they're in that little castle. Who's coming out on stage?
That is
Frank?
Viviani.
Viviani, also a frequent guest here on the Schmoedown Rundown. Absolutely. And the host of the Rundown Schmoedown. But yeah, that was from Last Crusade, when they're trying to open the staircase to escape the Nazis. And Sean Connery sits in the chair, and it was the lever that opened the staircase. So it was a rough match for Jay. Obviously not the way he wanted to go. And has Jay Washington won a match?
Yes, he's won 1, and I can't even tell you who it was against. I should actually know that.
Slightly inebriated at the moment.
Maybe. I can neither confirm nor deny that is the truth. So
Frank, let's talk about that second cutscene that everyone's talking about. Why don't you walk the fans through?
So it's a real simple one, really. Mike, he's leaving the studio, and here comes John Roca, steps into frame, and calls Mike over, and Mike walks over, and all of a sudden, this line from Roca cracked me up. The way he delivered it. So, you're making some moves. Like, barely opening his mouth. Kind of a smirk on his face, and Kalinowski's like, yeah, I'm making moves. And there's just kind of like a bit of a stare down, and Roca getting a feel for what Kalinowski's doing. And then Kalinowski gets out of there. And we're left to wonder, what does that mean? Will we find out tonight here at the live event? We saw Kalinowski come out here on the stage a little while ago.
Roca's got to be around.
Yeah, I have not seen him, so that's to be determined. But I'm excited to see what's going to happen here tonight.
Well, I have heard rumors of things that may or may not be going on at the live event tonight, and I'm very sad that I am not in attendance. But why don't you, Frank, is there any way possible, we didn't discuss this prior,
please take your seats.
Is there any way we can get any sort of tour right now of what's going on?
I'm gonna try and see what happens here. I'm gonna walk around a little bit and see what happens here. Bear with me. If I lose connection, we'll just end the show right here, right now. But we'll see.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this might be the end of the second part of this episode. So bear with us. Frank is walking down the stairs. This is the Schmoedown live event at the El Porto Theater in Los Angeles, California, or Hollywood, California, to be more specific. As we try to navigate through the dark arena, Frank seems to be going into the side stage.
Oh, boy, look at this. Oh, here we are.
A lot of empty halls. Frank there. Janisch, I wonder, can you just – who is that? Who are we seeing? I didn't know who that was, but it's nice to see her.
That was Breanne Chandler and PA Alex Marzona. So,
okay. So this is backstage at the El Porto Theater. I say, Janisch, you should walk onto the stage. Walk all the way on the stage. Okay. Why the hell not? Wave to the crowd. There's Jenga Janisch, ladies and gentlemen.
They're handing out
staring
something
out to the crowd.
There's Thad the commish. Clapping for Thad, not for me. It's okay.
No claps for Frank Janisch.
Oh, yep. There's late to the party. See Robert and Vanessa over there. All right, let's
file in.
I'm going to try and get into the see. Let's see if we can get into the green room.
Okay, guys. Now we are not supposed to be doing any of this behind the scenes look.
I don't think
guess what? We are doing it anyway because we love you, the fans. Damn it! So Frank is walking down the stairs in the El Portal Theater as he tries to make his way to the green room so we can get some sort of behind-the-scenes reaction. Frank, you might want to keep the camera down low in case something is exposed. It's not supposed to be seen. There's Ben Bateman. Ben Bateman making a special appearance here on the screen. Ben Bateman, how are you?
I already signed an autograph for him. He won't go away. I don't know what's going on.
Sorry.
Kick his ass out. You need to kick him out.
Right,
Get him out of here.
Okay, he's kicking me out. He's kicking me out.
Yeah, Frank, why don't you keep the camera on you in case something is revealed that's not supposed to be?
Uh-oh.
There's Dewberry and Makuga. Barry.
Oh,
there's Mark Riley right there. Mark Riley joins us. Man,
we're on the Facebook group. Yeah.
There's Mark Riley. Hello to Mark Riley. There's Jason
Where's my player stats on your geekdom, my friend?
Oh, yeah.
I'll
get those to you right away, sir. I will get that to you. It's in the mail.
Oh, they're collated and TPS.
I don't know what that means, but I'll figure it out. Okay.
As Frank continues to go around.
Oh, look who we got.
Who is this? There's John Roca and Mike Kalinowski.
That's Brad Gilmore.
Gilmore, what's up, dude?
What is up? Hello, gentlemen.
Boy. You hear Kalinowski saying giddy up. It's interesting. I don't know what that means. We'll find out maybe.
Well, let's see a couple more faces before we end this. There's Knapsack and Donica.
Oh, wow. How you doing? Nice to see you. All right, yeah. Okay. Oh, this is Brian Ward. He does the artwork.
Brian Ward.
Design.
Awesome. Yes. Who designed all of our Schmoedown logos and whatnot. Hello, Brian.
And we got that's Alex Damon right there. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
wow,
yeah,
just quite the cast of characters behind the scenes here.
Oh boy, yeah. This is interesting, and this is a good use of my data right now. So yeah. Oh, I see Christian Harloff right now.
Why don't we get a word from Christian Harloff?
Oh, you would love that.
Can you make your way over to him?
You think I don't?
There's Christian Harloff. He just walked right by you.
I'm good. I guess he's telling me don't stream anything, so he's on top of it.
He's on top of it. Well, before we spoil anything for anybody, we should probably just call this show a show. Ladies and gentlemen, I know this was a very chaotic edition of the Schmoedown Rundown, at least a part 2 of it. Make sure you go check out our breakdown of the Inner Geekdom match between Hector Navarro and Adam Lavick from earlier this week. It is now on the SK Plus YouTube channel, as well as the Collider Factory feed on Podcast One. Janisch, anything you want to say before we get out of here?
If you were able to come to this live show, I am pumped to see things go down here. And we had a pretty good week of matches, and I think what's to come here, if what goes down tonight, is going to have ripple effects for the rest of the year. It's going to be very, very interesting. So, yeah, it's going to be a great time tonight. Wish you were here, man.
I wish I was too. Hopefully we will get together in Los Angeles, California soon. Chris Clark, shout out to him as always. Shout out to Albert, Leo Logan, Greg, everybody who's been on here, Christian Jones, all people who joined us on the live stream tonight. We definitely appreciate it. This will be up probably on a YouTube channel or something where you can watch it on a replay. So, Frank, thank you for sparing no expense with your data plan and taking time out. I expect videos throughout the night of things that go down.
I don't know that. I don't think that's going to happen. Christian's very adamant that I don't even know if we're supposed to do this. So if you see
probably not. So let's put a bow on it. And Frank Janisch, thank you for taking the time. And, guys, we will see you next week on the Schmoedown Rundown. We might be discussing these very events that are about to take place next week. So get ready, guys. This is going to be good, as Booker T says. So we're signing off right now. Brad Gilmore, Frank Janisch, Chris Clark, Schmoedown Rundown. We'll see y'all.